at the Kilauea Volcano Visitor Center here, and there's a crater rim drive, and there's a viewing platform over here where you go by car, and afterwards there are some hikes and caves on this side, and later a long road all the way to the ocean, which is called the chain of craters, and that's what we'll be doing today. We are at the Kilauea volcano near the crater. However, the actual crater overlook is closed permanently for now. It says due to hazard.
So we were here several years ago and did a trail that is no longer open, so you just never really know the conditions. But here we have some steam vents, and it is a little chilly. I don't know what temperature it is exactly, but I mean, I'm wearing a fleece and I'm still kind of cold.
And I'm pretty cold.
So the steam vents are actually a nice place to stand. You can't stand too long because you will actually get a little too warm. But right there, I got a wisp of it.
I got steamed.
Yeah.
I like it quite nice because I thought it would be much hotter than it is. But the winds, I think, are making it cold.
It's pretty windy. When you're on the Big Island in particular, and even parts of Maui, it's not always hot and tropical. You do actually want to bring long pants, jacket, just leave it in your rental car because you just never know when you're going to need it during the day. And yeah, they do have lots of signs that kind of warn you, like don't enter, don't go here, don't go there, and it's really just a matter of safety out here. If they're telling you don't go there, you really shouldn't go there. There are multiple hiking trails out here as well. They vary. I think I saw ones from like 1 mile to just 2 or 3 miles up to like 4 miles. There might even be longer ones. And there's also a military camp here where you can actually rent a cabin and stay overnight, but you do have to be military affiliated to do that. Do they allow camping?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. So yeah, if you do come here, you kind of have to plan to do like a full day trip. There are some Airbnb cabins closer to the park, but for the most part, you're gonna have to stay somewhere else and actually drive it.
Let's see what we can get on foot since the main overlook is closed and cars cannot get near. As good as the visitor center, except a little lower. The visitor center has higher elevation, but this is a giant crater.
Oh, this is so cool. It's like Mars, and it is different from the one on Maui, because we've been to that one as well, but that also gives you that feeling of being on Mars. We did that hike. It was such a cool hike.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we were GoPro vlogging back then, but we weren't. We'll just have to do it again someday. But Haleakala is also really cool over on Maui, and that's where people go to watch the sunrise. And afterward, most people leave, but you should really stay and do that hike down the crater because it's really beautiful and different. It's a different landscape than what this looks like.
You see right now there's a buildup of lava, but it's all a mile under the surface, and eventually it will bubble up, but right now it's still down. So currently, rare actually for the last few decades that it isn't erupting, because it's been erupting for a long time.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting, if you're not familiar with the Hawaiian Islands, the Big Island, the one that we're on right now, is also the youngest. It's the one that has had the most volcanic activity most recently.
One thing to note while we're here is that if you look at the chain of islands, Kauai is the oldest one of the big ones, and it's the smallest. Therefore, the eruptions are only getting bigger through time.
Yes.
So this island is bigger than all the rest of them put together, and it's youngest. Therefore, lava's coming out now way more than ever before. These flowers make me think that unfortunately someone died here. And it is indeed very dangerous. You really need to observe all the guardrails when you're here. I could see the temptation for people to go and shoot and things like that, but I'm listening to guardrail.
Well, it's just like, come on, like you can feel the steam.
Yeah.
It's obviously hot, and you know, like the sign actually says too. It's like you just don't know how stable the land is below you, and you could actually collapse. You could end up in the source of that steam vent. So, like,
Yeah.
how awful would that be?
Yeah, that is true. This is unstable land, among the most unstable on Earth. So listen to
Yeah.
the science.
Not worth it. Not worth it for that photo. Whatever you can. So cool. And what's interesting because it contrasts what we normally see when we go to national parks, because in the Pacific Northwest our national parks are gorgeous. They're lush. You don't see like anything black like this unless there was a fire recently.
We do have one volcano park as well, though. Mount St. Helens in the Northwest is, the last eruption was actually the year I was born, and it blew out many miles, like tens of miles of forest and houses even.
So actually we can see, or I can see a little thing about travel photography here. It's especially an editorial request these days, or like tourism boards. They really want photos not just of beautiful landscapes, but they want people, either people interacting with it or just like a subject, because without it, it just doesn't give you scale. It doesn't feel like a tourism or travel friendly shot. So, and there are ways to do that without, you know, going up to people, having to get model releases, having them pose. So what I like to do is try to get someone that's like ahead of us or someone behind us, so that, you know, if they're wearing a hat, wearing sunglasses, or just interacting, and you can see enough of them to know that there's a person there but not capture their identity. Getting those kind of shots are really good for travel.
And this is the trail back to the visitor center actually. So we came by car, but you can actually make it on foot. You can just park over there and explore. And here is really cool because there's foliage and steam coming out right under it. Well, and yeah, basically do not step, because even stepping right here you begin falling down into the steam vent. And here many plants are not able to cope with the steam and other pollution that comes out of the volcano, so you see how things start dying quickly here. It's not very easy to survive even for plants, even though you can see how so close to the crater there is life, but it is also battered a bit. It's not completely healthy.
It's also saying here, and I don't know how current that is, but it's closed because of volcanic gases. So that's another thing. You may not be able to see any apparent danger, but it's almost like carbon monoxide or something. Just, you know, like gas that's there that you really shouldn't be inhaling. That, you know, if you inhale too much of it, it can make you sick or even kill you. So it sounds like that's really what some of the issues here might be. Those gases are just getting stronger, and the wind causes it to blow, and they just don't want you to go near them.
There it is.
Wow.
Crazy. Ooh, it smells.
Yep.
Here these are constantly getting hit by noxious gases, so it does not look healthy. Yeah, and this rusts and corrodes really fast, you can see.
Yeah.
Looks to me like a lot of iron. I read into it. It says the reason the soil is red in Oahu is there's too much iron in it.
Yes, but they said that that's why pineapples grow so well. Behind me is Kilauea Iki. So it erupted in 1959, and when it did, it shot lava 2,000 feet into the air. Right now there is a trail, and a group in front of us is actually going to go down and do it. But the trick is you have to start at the top, make your way down, walk around, and then come all the way back up. So it sounds like it's an out and back trail.
Here you can see how on the rim of the crater there's jungle growing.
Doesn't this make you feel like Jurassic Park? Like a velociraptor is going to come and like...
Yes, you're the velociraptor.
Yeah. I know, my nails are a little long, I need to cut them.
But what makes me feel that way is these ferns. These are ferns, and I wish I could stand. Actually, can you try to get me in front of them? Because they're like...
Martin for scale.
Whoa, they're like 5 times my height.
Yeah, Martin's what, 6'2"?
Yeah. So that's a fern.
These are way bigger even than those sunflowers we saw in Chilliwack.
Yeah, that's a prehistoric fern if I've seen one. Right here is a drop off. A very long drop into the crater. I'm right on the edge of the crater. A little bit scary, a little bit. This is a secondary crater, by the way. The main one is beyond there, in the back, and
but this is a fairly recent eruption.
Yeah.
Wow.
a very round crater as well, and very high. It's very steep.
Kind of looks like Darth Vader's head when he pulls off his mask.
And it's like wrecked. Here they left it. A lot of places they blocked, but that edge they left. Pretty jungle here. I remember that from last time. We're walking the Devastation Trail. Things changed a bit. Here you can see how the volcano from the latest eruption in 1959 in this area blew out all the flora, and now it's starting to come back. It's been 60 years or so, but it's not very much, but it's coming back. Of Walla Walla to the fields of Bali. We're here in a lava field, which is totally different. Yeah, this is the end of the road literally, and looks like very fresh lava. It's not that fresh really. It was fresher where we were the other day, by that village. Well, that was brand new. yeah. But yeah, this is, relatively fresh. I'm not sure exactly when this lava flow is from, but it just goes on and on. In fact, there's about 5 miles more of it if you just keep going down. We're not going to go down all the way that way, but it's just really cool to see something like this. And even like looking at the terrain and being like hiking it, you couldn't make it too far, honestly. Yeah, it's rough. So we're going to show you some shapes here and some life springing from the lava rock. You do want to watch it because these rocks are sharp and you don't want to fall or anything or drop your camera, so yeah, careful. Last thing you want is to split your knee open on this. Right here you can see different layers and metals and whatnot within the lava. It's really fascinating, really. Like the closer you get to it, it's like shiny. When you pick it up, it's actually really light, considering it's a rock. Like the wind is almost blowing it away, like when I throw it up like that. Do it, throw it. Feel it. Yeah, it does sway it, yeah. It's almost like, but it's really pretty. It's got some nice color to it and a lot of pores. But the one thing about, especially in Hawaii, I don't know if this is true in other islands or other areas, but you don't want to take lava rock home with you. It's goes back to just like Hawaiian mythology and legends. You're cursed if you do that. So if you take it, it's at your own risk. I wouldn't do it. So leave it here. Here, straight up bubbly, where the lava was bubbling and flowing slowly. Or here, crazy shapes. Here there's so many colors, it's kind of like a rainbow. Starts with shiny, there's some blue, some yellows, black obviously, then it goes into red and orange down there. All kinds of colors. Probably equally amazing is how with these brutal winds and just barren rock, you start getting these ferns and other plants are taking root in little cracks at first, and then they protect other things around them and soil starts to form. So then the whole thing gets restored, and you can see it this way the grasses have now started taking over, but this way it's too fresh. You don't have even grass, you have a few ferns and a few trees. Some really crazy cracks. You can, if you're a photographer, you can spend days in here just looking through these shapes. There's amazing shapes here. And right here you see so many layers and colors. Whew, it burns. I'll just do a little quick demo of what I've been
doing. I want to convey how apocalyptic this is. And the truth is, there's a lot more color here than you might expect, although with our polarizers, we're seeing more color than our cameras can actually see. Like, we're seeing red.
Yeah.
So there's advanced filters in here where you can isolate colors, and I thought that might be a little fun. Of just like, I wanted to show everything kind of black except isolating green colors, so all you see is that green tree there.
That's cool.
So kind of having some fun with that. I tried it with red, and the camera doesn't pick up that there's any red here. It's interesting.
There's a lot of red.
Shows it, but the camera doesn't see it that way.
You're right, my shades see it way more.
Pure black. So, but yeah, you can have some fun. I think a place like this is a great time to use those creative filters and just get a little crazy. Try something different.
All right, let's do a little shooting with these rocks and then run before we burn completely.
Yeah, exactly. It's really hot. We're the only ones out here, in fact. So yeah, we'll have some fun and head back.